Hey guys, if you're new here, I'm London, aka History of the Batman. So, I already apologize in advance for sounding super nasally. I have been sick the last 2 weeks. Although I sound terrible right now, I sound 10 times better than I have since my last video. And so that just shows you that I feel like trash. I even have tissue in my hand. That's how bad I'm rocking right now. I thought I would put up something really like chill for this time. I thought I would do the Q&A that I promised literally like 3 weeks ago. So better late than never, I guess. But 3 weeks to a month ago, I put up this post on my Instagram, which is at History of the Batman. It's a good time and you get daily Batman stuff. Even if I don't put up a video in the week that I promised I would, you'll always see something Batman related on my Instagram. So give it a follow if you haven't already. I know I sound so bad. I feel so bad. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna be answering some of the questions, not all the questions, because I got a lot of questions and I don't want this video to be super long, especially since I probably should be resting and I'm not, for you guys, because you guys are awesome. Let's just jump in. I'm just rambling. You have to completely wipe out one of the following Robins from the Batman universe. Dick, Jason, or Tim. Who would it be? Easily Jason. And let me tell you why. Of course, Jason Todd was introduced in 1983, 1984. Oh, I'm so sick. This is terrible. Dick Grayson has gone under the moniker of Nightwing, kind of doing his own thing. And so, of course, the writers wanted to introduce a new Robin into the mix. And they introduced Jason Todd. And at the beginning of him being crafted by Conroy, he is almost a carbon copy of Dick Grayson. He even has the same blonde hair. He is an acrobat with his parents in the circus, and it's all very reminiscent of Dick Grayson's backstory. But then, once Crisis on Infinite Earths happened, and we have the new reboot of the universe, I'm so sick my V's are B's. It's terrible. And Todd is given a new backstory, which makes him more of a rebellious character. He still becomes Robin, but he's just not the kind of humble spirit that we're used to within Dick Grayson. I mean, Dick Grayson was Robin from 1940 all the way to the early 80s. He's been Robin forever. So it almost was kind of a shock to readers to read about this Robin persona that is not almost the same embodiment as Dick Grayson brought to the persona. So people didn't like him. They didn't like the fact that he always fought with Batman, that he was a troublemaker. It didn't flow, which I always find interesting because people wanted to get away from the campiness in the 1960s, the campiness that the Batman TV show brought. Adam West and Burt Ward's portrayal as the Caped Crusader and the Boy Wonder, and how it was too light and playful, and the 80s kind of introduced that more dark, adult, graphic novel feel. And yet people didn't like Jason Todd because he wasn't that light-hearted, campy persona that they claimed they didn't like. Because they didn't like him, they made it so he wouldn't be Robin anymore. And even if, in Jim Starlin's Batman and Death in the Family, when the readers got to vote Jason killed by the Joker, even if it went the way of, oh, we don't want him to be killed by the Joker, they still planned on writing him out of the Robin character. Batman was gonna be on his own for a while and saying, I can't have a Robin anymore because he almost died. They weren't gonna have Jason Todd be Robin anyway. So I feel like they just were going to abandon the character altogether. I always feel like even if they're like, oh, Jason never happened, Jason was never introduced, he's not a Robin, somehow Batman would probably go a couple years without a Robin and they would just introduce the Tim Drake character even earlier. Even though people like Jason Todd now, maybe his character more than Tim Drake, you have to see that they like the Red Hood persona, the anti-hero for a long period of time persona, is the black sheep of the Batman family. People like that. But that's not him as Robin, that's him as a totally different persona. I think people like Jason Todd Red Hood more than Jason Todd Robin. If they just wanted to introduce him as Red Hood just from the get-go, then sure. I'm sure they could even make a background that he was some random kid that showed potential but was never really Robin. And maybe one day Joker in some really messed up storyline kills him. He still comes back to life. He still becomes the Red Hood somewhere down the line. I don't think he needs to be Robin. In that long explanation, I would take away Jason. Jason Todd as a Robin is a great history for the persona, but he's not a necessity to define the persona, I suppose. That's just me. You are, oh my god, I just kicked my camera. Anyway, I hope that answered your question, guys. I was rambling, and I feel like this is gonna be a rambly video because I'm like hopped up on cough syrup a little bit. So this is gonna be exciting. Enjoy the ride, kids. What is it like being a part of the Batman experience? Going to events, posting updates, running a profile that so many love with our Batman favorites. Is it exhausting and hard? That's a good question. I like the follow-up. They said, I've been curious for a while. She always has a smile on her face and makes it look so effortless. I wonder how she has time to sleep. That is a good observation because I don't sleep. I have a really, really bad insomnia. A lot of times when I can't sleep, I'm planning on what I want to accomplish for whatever history session I'm in. I love it. I think that it is a lot of work. I would not put in the effort I do into the Instagram, into creating videos, into any of it if I didn't enjoy it. As corny or cliche as it sounds, life is just way too short to not be doing something that you don't really love. And I love talking about Batman. I love talking about comics. I love the art. I love the writing. I love the creative process of putting together this mythology for these characters that we love so much. I love reading it, watching it, talking about it, and sharing that love of it with you guys. Wherever you follow, however you found this channel, however you found me, I'm sure you enjoy the characters just as much, and so you like to connect with like-minded people who like all of this. And that makes me happy. The best thing is when I talk about a particular comic book series or TV episode or something, and someone's like, I had no idea that existed, and I'm going to look into it myself, and they enjoy it. That's the best gift I get from doing all of this media. Doing panels at conventions and doing other Batman related events at comic book shops and things like that, and being able to write for big comic book sites and do reviews and things like that. I love all of it because that just enhances my experience, and I get to communicate with people who are either part of the industry or love the industry just as much as I do. 97% of the experience I've had online has been amazing. There's always that 3%, especially for a while, that was kind of not the best, but I enjoyed doing everything so much that I just wanted to continue doing that. It's a lot of work, but it's work that I enjoy, so it technically isn't much defined as work. Who all have taken up the Batman mantle other than Bruce Wayne? We're talking about regular continuity. Like first, it's Bruce Wayne. He is the main Batman. There's John Paul Valley when it was during the Batman Nightfall saga, when Bruce Wayne's back is broken by Bane and he literally has to heal to become Batman again. He gives the mantle to John Paul Valley, who turns out to be a super lethal Batman. After Bruce takes back the mantle from John Paul Valley, who isn't willing to give it up again, he gives it for a very brief period of time to Dick Grayson, and Dick Grayson is actually Batman, and you can read about that in the arc Batman Prodigal. The next big event to happen where Bruce Wayne isn't Batman in regular continuity is from Final Crisis, written by Grant Morrison, illustrated by J.G. Jones, and Batman dies by the hand, well, the gun, quote unquote, of Darkseid. And literally for a year's time, at least a year's time, late 2009, 2010, early 2011, he wasn't Batman. It was actually Tony S. Daniels' Batman Battle for the Cowl, where you got a little glimpse of each of the main Batman family characters being Batman because they're fighting to be Batman. You see Dick Grayson as Batman, you see Jason Todd randomly as Batman, you even see Tim Drake illustrated as Batman. Of course, even Damian wants to be Batman, but that's a whole thing we'll talk about in a second. Dick Grayson becomes the new Batman as Bruce Wayne is dead and away, and then Damian becomes Robin. There have been other books where Damian has been depicted as Batman. Batman issue 666, which is not an accident. It kind of shows the future that it's almost a what if. There's like a hellish Gotham City. Damian becomes Batman, but he's also kind of gave his soul to Satan. It's a whole thing. Fun fact, Grant Morrison, when I interviewed him for the podcast, told me that he thought that the Damian Wayne character was going to go away. And he was supposed to go away after the Batman 666 issue, where it was the what if he became Batman. But people like Damian. Don't ask me why. I don't know what the books would be like if Damian now wasn't a part of it. It's kind of an interesting thing to think about. Anyway, is Kevin Conroy your favorite Batman? Yes, he is. Animation, Batman, to me, Kevin Conroy, that's the best fit. It's not crapping on any other actors who have voiced Batman. Kevin Conroy for sure is my favorite. I've gotten to host a couple panels with him. One is a Kevin Conroy one-on-one discussion, which was amazing. It's actually on this channel, so if you want to see me talk to Kevin Conroy, and it was for LA Comic-Con a couple years ago. It was so much fun, and he loves voicing the character so much. You always love to talk to someone who is so passionate about what they do, because it makes you love what they do even more when they have so much like oomph for doing it. My favorite live action will always be Adam West. That was the very first Batman I ever saw. I love his Batman, I always will. When he passed away, now a year ago, it felt like a personal loss to me, because all of History of the Batman is a large part Adam West's reasoning why. Like, he's the reason why. Conroy, I guess, just for animation, is my favorite Batman. When I read Batman comics a lot, Kevin Conroy's voice is the voice that I hear when I read. So yeah, I would definitely say Kevin Conroy is a favorite. I have two, Adam West and Kevin Conroy. If Batman drinks that magic grape juice the Wakandans drink, will he be able to beat Thanos? Oh, I think that question pretty much is stating, if Batman was given the power of the Black Panther, of Marvel Comics Black Panther, will he be able to beat Thanos with that power? I'm gonna go ahead and say no. Anytime it's a versus thing, if it's Batman versus Thanos, let's just say those are the two we're picking, it depends on the writer, because the writer of the story can make Batman somehow equally as strong as Thanos. And then you can say, oh, it's an equal fight and who would come out on top. But let's say we're just focusing on the cinematic universe. If we're talking about Ben Affleck's Batman, right? And then we're talking about Josh Brolin's Thanos in the MCU. If you saw Infinity War, not just T'Challa was fighting against Thanos, but every Avenger, or almost every Avenger, and all of the heroes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe were fighting this one being, and it didn't work out. So I just feel like, while I love Batman, and of course there's always prep time and all these things, and people think that Batman can win any fight with prep time, that's my whole favorite thing to discuss, myth of the Batman God complex. That we like Batman because he's human, because he's like us. He is probably the most perfect example of a human, because of all of the physical traits and him being brilliant and him being trained in all these different art forms and all of these things. Sure, he is fantastic. However, I do not think he would be able to beat a being like Thanos, who wipes out entire planets and galaxies with the snap of a finger if he's wearing the gauntlet. So even, let's say Thanos has the gauntlet, that's his thing. Even if he drinks the grape juice, I don't think he would win. Now, if you're dealing with a writer who is doing some epic crossover and making Batman have the gauntlet and all of the Green Lantern rings and the juice, and you're giving him all these extra powers and all this stuff, maybe they can fight. But I think the reason why people like Batman, he's human, he doesn't have powers. So I never understand, why would you want to give Batman powers? I think we like Batman stories because he creates all of his powers. You know, he creates all the bat weapons. He's skilled in all the martial arts. He does all these things. That's just me. You are free to disagree in the comments below. To answer a few more questions. What is Joker's goal? What is he trying to achieve by irritating Batman? This question is hard to answer, and I think that's the point, right? A lot of times you see that Joker thinks that Batman's the reason why he's Joker, because in some origin stories, Batman's the reason why Joker fell into the vat of chemicals, and he kind of sees that, well, you created me, and you're the reason why I'm here, so if you go away, I have no reason to exist. He places a lot of his own chaos into the hands of whether or not Batman cares about stopping him, tries to stop him, and if he's still going to be around. I always like the idea of there's a yin and yang relationship with Batman and Joker, that they are mirroring images of one another. It's just one is using his tragedy for good and the other is using it for evil and chaos and madness. I think Joker's goal is to keep Batman around to be Batman so he can have something to do. Literally. I really do think that Joker plays a lot of what he does in his whatever schemes solely on what Batman wants. I think that's just the kind of really odd relationship they have. It's all very, I think, psychological. That question kind of doesn't have a full answer. I'm not saying what I just said is the answer. That is just my educated guess from reading the comics and looking at how different media has portrayed Joker in the grand scheme of his relationship with Batman. Do you have any Batman tattoos? If not, would you consider getting one? I do not have any Batman tattoos, but yes, I have totally considered getting one. That would probably be my next tattoo. I do have one tattoo. It is a very colorful butterfly. It's right below my neck on my back, so in between my shoulder blades. If you follow me on anything or watch these videos, you know I always say peace, love, and Batman. I would probably get the symbols of peace and love and like a Batman emblem somewhere really small on my body somewhere. I think that's what I've always planned if I would get a Batman tattoo. That's probably it, just because that's me. I'm peace, love, and Batman. That's me. So that's probably what I'd get. What kind of Batman symbol? I'm not sure yet. Probably the Adam West symbol, like his chest emblem. I love that one, of course, because I love Adam West. So either that or one that looks like the Batman animated series emblem, like the very classic yellow emblem. I would get either one of those. How long have you had Instagram? I have had the history of the Batman Instagram since January of 2013. So for 5 and almost a half, I guess a half now, years I've had it. Instagram in general, maybe, I don't know, 6 years, I guess. I think I have my personal Instagram, and I even did a page that just talked about Egyptology because I studied that in school as well as comic book art, and I love Egyptology. I love ancient Egypt. I love that history. So I actually did a kind of similar page that I do with Batman, talking about Batman history, but with Egyptian history. Instagram is definitely my platform that I feel the most comfortable, but I like doing videos too. So I'm trying to transition a little bit, but I'm always going to be doing Instagram as long as I'm doing this here. So don't even worry about that. Last question. What? Huge fan of the channel. Thank you. What would you say are your 5 favorite Batman comic book stories? That's so difficult. We can at least start with Batman Nightfall. That is what got me into loving comics. Not just Batman, but comics in general. Definitely Batman Gotham by Gaslight. P. Craig Russell, Mike Mignola. I love Brian Augustine. I love that book so much. I love the Victorian era aspect of it. I love that that's the time period that they used. I like the use of Jack the Ripper. Pretty much anything Brian Bolland draws of Batman. Brian Bolland's Joker is my favorite visual interpretation of Joker. So I would probably do Batman the Killing Joke. Sorry, I mean, that's why I have the statue. I absolutely love Brian Bolland's Joker, his art. I love it. I love Dennis O'Neil's Batman Venom, which is in Legends of the Dark Knight. It's a 5-issue arc. So they kind of introduce Venom in this story, and Batman literally becomes addicted to it, and he has to wean himself off by locking himself in the Batcave for like a month. It's another story that shows his humanity, shows that he is like anybody else. He can become addicted to habit-forming things, and he has to go through the recovery process just as anyone would have to if we were in that situation too. So I love that story. I love the art. Jose Luis Garcia Lopez's covers are just brilliant. I'll do something more modern. I really like Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's Death of the Family. I like that all of the Batman family's involved. I love that it focuses in on Joker and Batman's relationship and how he pretty much is like, I'm gonna cut off everyone else because they're slowing you down at being the best Batman you can be, and I love you, babe, so much that I need you to be the best of you so I can fight the best of you, and that's how we'll thrive. And it's very strange but amazing. I love Batman Joker stories where he's like, I need you to be good, man, because I love you that much. Those are my 5 favorite, I think, and I'm sure that'll change in like 5 minutes, and because I always think of something else that I really like best. I hope that you guys like the answer. I hope people that asked the question are watching this video and like the answer. So thanks for watching, and if you do have a question, comment below here. I'm sure at some point I'll put up another ask me a question thing on both Twitter and Instagram. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a bat thumbs up, and please subscribe to this channel. Once again, I'm really sorry I sounded stuffy this entire video. I will be posting more videos, and I'm hoping this weekend, like this actual weekend, I will give you the 1-minute bat history that I have been working on. All my social media is linked in the description below, so give a follow on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all that fun stuff. Check out my current review on Comicosity and my articles for comic book resources. Also, if you haven't seen, I talked about this in my Warner Brothers studio tour review that I got to be on camera for like a very short period of time talking about certain characters and the Justice League exhibit that is new at the Burbank tour. And those videos are out on Warner Brothers Studio Tours YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. So I will link those videos to their YouTube channel below, so you can check me out for a total of like 20 seconds. So I hope you like seeing my face again. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and when I'm better, and hopefully not as stuffy, I will have more History of the Batman for you guys soon, right here on YouTube. Remember, Gothamites, it's all about peace, love, and Batman. Bye.